Hi, and welcome to the Holly C Podcast, a show about expressing your brilliance with ease and flow. I'll show you how to take the woo-woo out of the clouds and apply it to real life for effortless action. This show is for world changers and future world changers, so if you know there's more to life and you're wondering what's next, this is your show. Hi, I'm Holly, your host. I'm a speaker, author, teacher of health, vitality, and spirituality, and also a dragon spirit guide. Today's episode is about trust and faith in the universe. So we're going to talk about having faith in the universe when things aren't manifesting the way you want them to, or you're not seeing it yet. And this is especially relevant if you have an analytical mind, because your mind is going to question, it's going to doubt, it's going to analyze, and quite frankly, the whole process of manifesting things, law of attraction, it's not linear, it's not logical. It is in hindsight, but it's not that way when you're in the process or in the flow of it. So having questions, having doubts, wondering if it really works, that's actually perfectly normal. So you might wonder, is there really a law of attraction? Does this really work? And no matter how many times you see it working, no matter how extenuating the circumstances for what you manifest, and when you see it coming true and showing up in your life, there's always going to be a little bit of doubt. And that's natural. It's human nature. It's part of the makeup of who you are to not accept everything on blind faith. So here is the paradox. You have to have faith when it's in your nature to question blind faith. Because if you did not question, then you would accept the status quo as it is. And it is this questioning, this curiosity that expands the universe. So I've been getting a little nudge from the universe just before this podcast to share a story with you. Well, first, I should mention that I am a very powerful manifester. I'm an amazing manifester. I can pretty much manifest everything I want. It's just a matter of time and figuring out what it is that I want. But even so, even though I see these incredible quote-unquote coincidences and symbiotic things happening in my life, I still question it. So I wanted to share a story with you about the first time that I put all of my trust in the universe. Because the only thing that stops you from manifesting everything you want is the doubt and the lack of faith in the universe. So it's kind of this weird paradox where you question and then you surrender. You accept, you allow yourself to get into the flow, and then things happen. And then you're amazed, and you say, I'm going to trust you, universe, forever. And then that little bit of doubt comes up again, you question, then you surrender, you get back into the flow. So it's like almost everything in life where there's this cycle. It's like yin and yang. You can't have one without the other. You cannot have the faith without the doubt. So I'm going to share a story with you about something that happened to me many years ago. This was the first time that I put my utter and complete faith in the universe. And guess what? It delivered. So about 20 years ago, I used to be really into road cycling. And I lived in Toronto, which was quite urban, lots of buildings. So you had to go really far to find like a nice country road to ride on. Basically, I had to take the subway all the way to the end of the line and then ride several more miles until I got to the middle of nowhere. And it still wasn't that nowhere, but at least there wasn't as many cars, so it was decent riding. Anyway, as fate would have it, when I finally got to my destination of as close to the middle of nowhere as I could get while living in Toronto, I got a flat tire. And it wasn't just any flat tire. It was a giant screw pierced my tire, went right through the tire and the inner tube. in the tire, so I had a perfectly flat tire. And at first I thought, okay, maybe I can repair it. So I was looking, and of course I didn't bring everything I needed, but I did find like an old patch, one of those sticky patches that I thought I could stick on the tire. And so I started to get to work on the tire. Of course, when I got time to actually pumping up the tube, I realized that I had the wrong type of pump with me. There's two types of attachments for pumping the tubes. There's a Presta and Schrader valve. And I had the pump for the Schrader valve, not the Presta valve, which is the skinny road tires. So I'm like, oh no, what am I going to do? So I looked around. There was like nobody. Maybe a car would pass by occasionally, but that was it. And so at that point, I knew I was completely screwed. So I decided to test this whole trust the universe thing. I literally looked up at the sky and I said, okay, universe, show me what you got, or some variation of that. Forget the exact words. Yeah, show me, universe. I'm ready to trust you. Help me out here. And so I thought, okay, maybe another cyclist will come by and they'll have the right pump or something I can use to patch my tire. And sure enough, I saw a cyclist coming in the distance and I thought, yes, the universe is delivering. And I flagged the guy down. I told him my predicament. And then he said, oh, I'm so sorry. I don't have anything with me. And I was like, oh, no. So much for that. Thanks a lot, universe. But then I thought, okay, I need to do something. I should at least try and find a bike shop. So I looked north, I looked south, and I thought, which way should I head? Which way would the bike shop be? And I decided to go south because at least that way I would be heading in the direction of Toronto. So even if I had to walk 5 miles, I'd be a little bit closer. So I started walking, and after a few minutes, I saw a fire station. And the thought crossed my mind, maybe I can go into the fire station. Maybe they have a pump or something that I can use to fix my bike. And if they don't, well, at least the firemen are going to be kind of hunky, so I should go in anyway. So I pushed my bike over to the fire station. I walked inside, and I did not see any firemen. Instead, I saw a whole bunch of people just standing around, and they all looked at me like I was a Martian. And so I said, excuse me, I got a flat on my bike. I'm wondering if anyone here knows where there might be a bike shop. And I looked around, and the faces were like deer caught in headlights. Everybody had this blank, stunned expression. And then finally somebody shook their head and said, no, we don't know. And I thought, oh, okay, time to continue on. And I hope the universe will help me. But then this woman emerged from this crowd of faces, and she said, oh, what seems to be the problem here? I do a lot of biking. Maybe I can help you. So I shared my dilemma, and then she said, oh, you know what? Normally I carry gear with me in my car, but I didn't bring it today. And then once again, my hopes were dashed. And then she looks at me for another second, and she says, Holly? And then I took a closer look at her, and I said, Carol Ann? It turned out that the woman at this fire station in the middle of nowhere, north of Toronto, she was in the same road cycling group that I had just joined a couple weeks ago. And the reason why we didn't recognize each other was because when you're riding, you have the helmet on, you've got the shades on, you've got the spandex on. You do look like an alien. You look like a total freak, so you don't recognize someone when they're dressed normally. And after we figured out that we knew each other, she said, oh, I thought I recognized your bike. You know what? Let me finish up what I'm doing here, and then I can take you to a local bike shop. And I thought, yay, okay, problem solved. You know what happened was that she actually worked for an insurance company, and they were doing a child seat safety workshop at the fire station. And that was why she was there. So of all the places that she could have been on that afternoon on the weekend, that's where she was. And of all the places I could have stopped in for help, that's where I walked in. And that is how the universe works. It weaves together circumstances so that you have this perfect quote-unquote coincidence. And as long as you're listening to these little ideas that pop into your head, then you're getting messages from the universe that are guiding you along. So after I got to the bike shop, fixed my bike, rode back to the subway, rode all the way back home, I couldn't help but be amazed at how the universe had delivered. And I said to myself, universe, I'm never going to doubt you again. But of course, I did. And of course, the universe would show me that there was no reason to doubt. As long as you have faith, you will have doubt. But as long as you remember to have faith, you will manifest that which you want to manifest. It is happening. You have planted the seeds. The roots are growing. It's like bamboo. They grow roots for years before the shoots shoot up from the ground. But when they do, the growth is tremendously fast. And so it will be for you. Just have faith. That's what this podcast episode is about. It's a message from the universe to remind you to have faith. So on that note, we are at the end of this episode. So I'll be signing off for now until we reconnect again. Bye for now.